The National Council for Nomadic Education has today started its two-day consultative forum as part of its efforts to gather views and expert take from elected leaders and education stakeholders from both secular and religious sector. Delegates from the 22 nomadic counties are meeting for the first time as part of an effort to accommodate religious and informal learning into the mainstream education system.
To engage in that open debate, because there might be fear from certain quarters that if there is integration between Islamic study and the secular study in our schools, radicalization might increase. To the contrary, Islamic education, in addition to secular education, is likely to caution people from the ignorance of engaging in violent extremism.
To look at our constitution today, the opportunity to actually mainstream and Duksi and Madrasa into the formal system of education is extremely evident. The necessary statutes are there, and beginning with Article 56, 43, 27, and a number of other articles of the Constitution. And that has again so much been given a lot of meat by the Basic Education Act Section 95(2)(e), which allows for the integration of Duksi and Madrasa into the formal system. So the only challenge that we had now was that governors are in charge of early childhood education, which has been given to you by the provisions of Section 2(9) of the 4th schedule.
What shall we do? Nobody came up with a solution and say, we must come up. The example of the polio campaign. How are people going from one house to another house in search of those people who have not been vaccinated? Why don't we take that example? Why don't we go from house to house whose children are not going to school? The most important thing is access. And that is why we say, the other time when we went to disseminate this information on educational access, Isiolo, which was my neighbor, I come from Marsabit, there are only 26 students who had C+ and above. Is that not a disaster?
Above this, the curriculum is very value-based. That is something that we noted. It is actually value-based because we found that the learners are inculcated with values like discipline, respect, decency. Is it true? And we were told, like, girls who go through this, they are make better wives. At one point in a group that I was in, I was told that actually a girl who has gone through this makes a better wife, and somebody may wish to marry somebody who has gone through the Dukes and Madrasa than going for somebody like me who has gone to school.